In modern design, light is often associated with beauty. Bright spaces, white walls, and large windows are seen as signs of simplicity and clarity. But in traditional Japanese design, there's a different approach. Shadow and dimness are part of the atmosphere. Details come to life not in direct light, but in soft, subtle shadow. So why is shadow valued in Japanese design? In this video, we'll explore this question by looking at the aesthetic values behind it and how these ideas appear in both traditional and modern Japanese design. In traditional Japanese interiors, spaces are often dim and quiet. You don't feel strong or dazzling light. Shoji screens filter natural light, tatami floors soften the atmosphere, and shadows become part of the experience. Instead of eliminating shadows, Japanese design embraces them, allowing textures and materials to reveal themselves gently in low light. This reflects a deeper aesthetic value where subtlety, atmosphere, and quietness are central. To understand this approach to shadows, we can turn to In Praise of Shadows, an essay by Junichirō Tanizaki from the 1930s. In this essay, Tanizaki reflects on how traditional Japanese spaces allow shadow to create a sense of depth and calm. He also shares examples from everyday life that show how this appreciation for shadow-shaped Japanese environments. One example is the traditional toilet in some temples. These toilets were separated from the main building, slightly dim, impeccably clean, and surrounded by the scent of greenery and moss. The dimness and shadows in these spaces softened surfaces and created a calming atmosphere, inviting quiet reflection. By contrast, modern toilets are brightly lit and polished, creating a very different mood. Even though it may not be practical to maintain such spaces today, Tanizaki's reflection invites us to consider how design can nurture not just function, but also atmosphere and serenity through shadow. Shadows in Japanese design not only create atmosphere and quietness, they also affect how people experience materials. For example, Tanizaki reflects on the difference between Japanese and Western tableware. In the West, silver, steel, and nickel are polished until they gleam, and this bright reflection is considered beautiful. In Japan, that kind of shine is viewed differently. Surfaces are often left to darken over time, developing a patina that softens their appearance. Tanizaki explains that dim light brings a different kind of beauty to lacquerware and aged silver. Shadows highlight their texture and subtle glow, creating a calm, gentle mood. This appreciation for shadow also appears in lighting. In traditional Japanese interiors, paper lamps aren't used to remove shadows, but to soften them. The paper softens the light, allowing shadows to remain gentle and creating a calm, peaceful atmosphere, rather than flooding the room with harsh brightness. The materials themselves also contribute to this feeling. The texture of the paper works with both light and shadow, creating a quiet balance where neither one dominates. In this way, paper lamps show how Japanese design embraces light and shadow together, using soft light to maintain an atmospheric mood. Shadows shape not just how a space feels, but how we experience what's in it. They invite a slower, more careful appreciation of materials, where imperfections and subtle details take on a special beauty. All of these examples reveal that shadow is more than atmosphere. It is tied to deeper aesthetic principles in Japanese culture. Shadows soften imperfections in a way that reflects wabisabi. In dim light, a worn lacquer bowl reveals a gentle beauty that might seem harsh in bright light. Shadows also define space and intervals, echoing the idea of ma. Without shadows, a tokonoma instantly loses its depth and becomes an ordinary blank space. And shadows create subtlety and mystery, embodying the feeling of yugen. A partially hidden form or a soft shadow on a wall suggests more than it reveals, leaving space for imagination and contemplation. In this way, shadow is not just a visual effect, but a key part of how beauty is understood and experienced in Japanese aesthetics. It invites a slower, more reflective way of seeing. As Tanizaki wrote, if we compare a Japanese-style room to an ink painting, the sliding doors would be the lightest shades, while the tokonoma would be the darkest. This captures how Japanese aesthetics embrace the secrets of shadow and skillfully balance light and dark. This sensitivity to shadow is not only central to traditional aesthetics, but continues to influence modern Japanese art and design. We see it in the work of artists like Isamu Noguchi. In 1951, Noguchi began designing his Akari light sculptures, works known for their weightless luminosity. He chose the name Akari, a Japanese word that means both light as illumination and lightness in weight. These paper lamps are designed to produce soft, diffuse light that blends with shadow, creating a gentle and calm atmosphere. Noguchi himself described them as poetic objects, not simply functional lamps, but sculptures that transform a space by shaping light and shadow together. Using handmade paper on a bamboo frame, Noguchi combined traditional Japanese materials with modern design, bringing warmth and softness into everyday living spaces. The same sensitivity appears in the architecture of Tadao Ando. His minimalist buildings, such as the Church of the Light, use natural light and shadow as central elements in the experience of space. Ando designs openings and surfaces so that shadows define the mood of a room, creating places that feel quiet and contemplative. His use of shadow shapes surfaces and adds depth. This shows how this appreciation for shadow remains a living part of Japanese aesthetics, even in contemporary architecture. Together, Noguchi and Ando show that this traditional sensitivity to shadow is not frozen in the past. It continues to inspire and shape modern Japanese design today. So what can we learn from the appreciation of shadow? In many contemporary spaces, the focus is often on brightness, clarity, and openness. Large windows, white walls, and polished surfaces are seen as signs of simplicity and beauty. But this can sometimes result in spaces that feel exposed and lacking warmth. Japanese aesthetics remind us that shadow brings more than darkness. It brings atmosphere, depth, and quietness. It helps us notice subtle textures and the interplay between light and dimness. It allows imperfection to feel natural and gives space a sense of calm and intimacy. As Haruki Murakami wrote, "Where there is light, there must be shadow. Where there is shadow, there must be light. There is no shadow without light, and no light without shadow." This reminds us that light and shadow are not opposites but interconnected, each giving meaning to the other. In design, as in life, embracing this balance helps create spaces that feel more thoughtful, more human, and more alive. What about you? Do you prefer light or shadow? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.